الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى إبراهيم بارك على محمد وآل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on us today. We thank you for your loving kindness that has dwelt among us each day. Guide us, great Redeemer, as we journey on. Open doors of financial blessings for us. Guide our steps and let your light illuminate our path. Be our strength in hours of weakness. In our wanderings, be our guide. Bless the work of our hands, and may your grace abide with us, now and forevermore. Amen.
Good morning, Mr. Witness. You may kindly take your seat. Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony for this commission of your inquiry to local government councils and related matters, I want to remind you that you are still on the oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, over to you.
Good morning, Mr. Cham.
Good morning, Ma.
Yeah, well,
Thank you, Ma.
Council, you may proceed.
Yes, good morning. Now, Mr. Cham, let me just get the exact time that you were acting as the finance manager for the project.
It was from the 25th of October 2021.
From
25th October 2021
to
until when the project was finished.
until the project was finished.
Yes.
That was all the way into 2023.
Yeah, up to 2024, because the program was supposed to be officially ended in 2022 December, but it was extended up to 2024 December.
Do you prepare financial statements for the project?
Yes, I prepare financial reports on monthly basis.
Do you have the financial reports you prepared?
Yes,
Do you have it with you now?
I have it. Yes, in soft copy, my laptop.
We will need copies of the financial report.
Okay, sir.
How many?
It's on monthly basis. I think I have all the months. Okay.
You had it here with you. Now, how many accounts did you have at the time?
For the project,
Yes.
we have 2 accounts.
Just two?
Yes.
Please tell us the accounts.
There is one at Basic Bank, and then we have another account at EcoBank. But then at EcoBank, we have 2 accounts, the GMD account and the Euro account.
And you have access to all of this as the finance manager.
Yeah, I used to have access, yes.
For the payments made in your name, we'll ask that you provide the necessary retirements. Did you write that down, Mr.
Yes.
Were you able to have retirements too?
For the petty cash,
Yes.
the petty cash, I was looking for a file that I have which is containing all the receipts and the other payment vouchers, but then I could not see it, so it means I have to go to Crab Island. It must be there in that file.
So you need time.
Yes.
You can make the application. Yes. You can ask for more time to provide the documents.
Yes, yes. Yeah, applying for some time to go to Crab Island and sign the documents, and then I can also remember, presenting some to the fraud squad, which I have to check also. Because some of these petty cards were also listed at the fraud squad, so we had to give them some of the documents that were in hand. So we'll have to check with them also.
Madam Chairperson, the witness is asking for time to provide the necessary documents.
The application is granted you to provide these documents by Tuesday next week.
Thank you.
And yesterday we have asked you to present some documents for today. Were you able to get the documents?
Yes, I think it's pertaining to what we are just saying. That is the retirement for the petty cards impress.
Did you note what we asked you to bring yesterday?
Yes, it was about 2 items that I noted. Okay, and the other one is the approval for Tobaski Feast bonuses. Those were the bonuses that we are paid to the support staff that I should provide the approval. That's where.
You're saying that you're applying for extension of time to get these documents.
Yes.
And we have granted that. So Tuesday, you bring in the documents.
Thank you.
Right now.
Mr. Cham, for the procurement activities for the project, How was it done?
I think in most of the time, we have a contracts committee. I mean, at BCC. I mean, who would actually be responsible for all the contracts, both for BCC and the project. So they are responsible. And then we also, I mean, engage the services of the procurement officer at the time, the BCC, to take care of the procurement of the EU project.
And who is that?
It was initially Ibu Keta, and then after Isa.
So, what was your role in procurement for the project?
I was the finance manager, and then I participate in their meetings, right, the contracts committee meetings, if it has to do with the project. So I attend the meetings, but then it was solely in the hands of the procurement officer.
Do you have records of the procurement activities that the project embarked on?
I have the listing anyway, but then the documents are at Crab Island.
Will you be able to provide the list?
The list, yes, I have the list.
Yes, we want you to provide the list. You can write it down as well.
Okay.
For the signatures, you were finance manager, but you were not signing the checks in the beginning. The director of finance was the one responsible, correct?
Yes.
So when exactly did you start signing checks for payments?
I have the letter that was sent to the bank for in myself to be added as a signatory. I have that letter with me.
May I please see the letter? That's for EcoBank and Basic Bank.
Yes.
We applied to tender two letters sent to one sent to Basic Bank and the other to EcoBank from Banjul City Council. And City Link Banjul Ostend to be admitted to evidence and marked as exhibit. Financial manual. Impressed. So in the last person.
A letter dated the 22nd of February 2022. It is from the Citylink Bundle Austin. It is addressed to the Managing Director, EcoBank Limited. It has reference 47 stroke BCC stroke 85 in brackets 5. It has the subject account signatories, and it is signed by the CEO, and it is copied to the Lord Mayor, and a file copy is maintained. Mr. Chairman, is it the same? Are there two
Yes,
of the same?
one is for Basic Bank, the other is for EcoBank.
Oh, the second letter is also dated the 22nd of February 2022. It is from Banjo City Council. It is addressed to the Managing Director of Basic Bank Limited. It has reference 48 stroke BCC stroke 85 in brackets 5. It has the subject account signatories, and it is signed by the CEO and copied to the Lord Mayor, and a file copy is maintained. These two documents are admitted together as exhibit in evidence, and they are marked as LGC/MC slash BCC, sorry, slash MC slash 007.
Class Bishop, please. Now, this letter came at a time when there was an issue between the CEO and the Director of Finance, Mr. Kamara. Correct?
Yes, I have noted something when I was going through yesterday that it came after the first town hall meeting. Because that was after the first town hall meeting was effected, the expenditures were made, and then this followed. And then it was done simultaneously with that of BCC to add another signatory to BCC account. Maybe we are doing a restructuring to add signatories, for backup, in case the other signatories are around.
I mean, that would be a standard procedure, but for the reason in relation to this particular change, Mr. Kamara was subsequently removed, and you were the de facto Director of Finance. You're the one signing all the payments moving forward. Correct?
It did not immediately take effect because even after having that, he continued signing. Maybe up to a point, where he did not want to sign, and then there was no steering committee. He was not part of it. Maybe he felt, excluded from the project. That is the time he stopped signing, and then
No, when he had a problem, that's the issue. When he had the issue with them, that was when he stopped signing. There's a letter to that effect from CEO.
yes,
Yes, CEO wrote to him regarding the refusal to sign checks, and that is what would trigger this addition. Now, it's clear, like we discussed yesterday, that the mandate to sign is the Chief Executive Officer, Mustafa Bachin, as the principal signatory, who should always sign. and any other one from the other two signatories, that is number 2 and number 3, Muhammad Cham, the Director of Finance, or Project Finance Manager. So where Muhammad Cham is willing to sign at all times and there is no problem, there will not be a need unless he is not present. There will not be a need for you to sign. Because he is the Director of Finance and you are just Finance Manager.
Yes.
Exactly. So, but where there's a problem, then there's always number 2 to fill in the gaps.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, we have the. Do you have, for instance, for all the withdrawals you've made, the expenditure you've made, do you have an expenditure statement?
Yes, that's what I said yesterday, that I need to reconcile the accounts to know exactly, because these payments are done in my name and then it was purposely done for official transactions, because I have said the um, pensions were also paid from this, even the part salaries that were being paid. And then most of the time, this remittance from BCC to the credit union would also be put in my name. And then you have also return checks, because checks will be returned and then the supplier will opt for cash instead of check. And then it will be replaced through this, monies that I have. So I need to reconcile all that to know exactly what these payments were meant for.
Mr. Cham, yes.
Just before we move away from the signing, Mr. Cham,
Yes.
you did say you have 2 accounts each in each of these banks, one in foreign currency and one in dollars.
I mean, we have an account with Basic Bank, and we have 2 accounts.
So one account at
Basic Bank, yes, and 2 accounts at EcoBank, and one in GMD, one in Euro.
Yes, but from the instructions that I have read, it is just mentioning just one account for EcoBank.
EcoBank, yes, that's the operational account.
What about the one that has the foreign currency account? Which bank is that?
It's EcoBank. It's EcoBank. They are linked because
I know they are linked,
yes,
but they should have a unique number. The numbers are not the same.
No, they are not the same. That one is 670, other one is 68.
Yeah, but the authority that I saw is just for, looks as if it's just for the
GMD 67. That must have been an oversight. That is the case.
But how were you transferring monies from the foreign currency to the GMB account?
But that will have to write a letter to transfer. Yes.
But that has to be consistent with the authority that you have to sign on the foreign currency account, the euro account. Were you a signatory to the euro account?
Yes, because I think it has been mentioned there in the EcoBank.
Anyway, I'll double check on that because it doesn't seem as if the euro account was mentioned particularly or specifically.
Because when we want to do transfer from the euro account to the GMD account, we write to the bank and then it is signed by the signatories. So it is normally signed by the Director of Finance and the CEO to effect that transfer.
So your inclusion doesn't include you in the foreign currency account?
Yes, it included me when we started the Omni, when we started operating online. So when I had access to the Omni, we could do the transfer. Online.
I have to verify that, but your inclusion was just meant for the Dallas account.
Yeah.
What I observed.
Then it must have been an oversight.
Yes. So, do you have an impress ledger as the finance manager for the project?
Impress ledger?
Yes.
No, we don't have impress ledger.
Why is that?
Impress ledger for the petty cash, you mean, or for general impress?
You have impress and you have petty cash. The two are not the same, similar but not the same, right?
Yes.
So do you have an impress ledger?
Impress ledger, we have it in the form of the DBE, because the DBE would specify all the impress that were issued at the time.
What is DBE?
The detailed breakdown of expenditure.
So do you have an impress ledger? Is it a yes?
Yes, by virtue of consulting the DBE, you can, view all the impress that were issued out.
Do you know the procedure in recording this impress that should be given to any officer as per the financial manual? Are you familiar with it?
Yes, impress are just allocations done to an officer.
Yeah.
For emergency expenses,
right,
or even unknown expenses,
right,
to be retired at a later date.
Yes.
Yes.
So is there a process for retirement?
Yes, because every impress that is issued out will actually be.
No, that's not the general, as in the project. Was there retirement requirement?
Yes.
Where people issued with interest retired in their interest?
Yes.
Can you provide us with the records or the ledger that will show all the interest were allocated, approved, and issued, and the retirement therein?
Yes. What I can do.
What you can do is that available?
No, that is yes to show that what you are asking.
Yes.
Yeah. What I can do is because what we have is the voucher will be prepared, and then the activity will be specified. For example, in the voucher, if it is for an activity at the beach, for example, the impress will be issued to the officer, and then after the activity, all the necessary documents that are meant for retirement will be compiled and attached to the voucher.
That is not what I'm asking. You know that is not what an impress procedure is. Do you know that's not what a retirement is? I'm asking for the records of retirement to ascertain how the cash was expended.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It is all attached in the voucher.
That is not retirement. After the attachment to the voucher, what flows next?
Now, after the activity.
Yes.
Upon obtaining all the supporting documents.
Yes.
Yes, they are attached to the voucher itself. That's what I'm saying.
See, let me go through what an impress is. 702. And all requests for impress should be made on an application for an impress and approved by the chief executive officer. Do you have an application that is process followed?
Yes.
The council should maintain an impress ledger in which will be recorded an impress approved by the chief executive. A subsidiary impress ledger will be opened in the name of each impress holder, detailing the impress paid out, the embossment, and retirements when they occur. Does this occur?
Yes, we have not been doing that anyway. Yes, not been doing that.
You just have to be truthful. Exactly. So when an impress is approved, a payment voucher will be raised by the finance staff in the name of the impress holder for the approved amount. The payment is posted to the cash book and impress ledger while the rest of the payment process is followed. That's not done. Not in that process. You agree?
Yes.
Officers entrusted with the impress will be held responsible for all monies advanced to them until such a time it has been properly accounted for. There is no proper accounting system for the impress that was issued. Right?
Yes.
Now, all impress must be retired or paid or repaid on or before the last day specified by the chief executive. The chief executive does not even specify the last day for retirement on the voucher or the approval. Correct?
Yes, correct.
So there's no need to even go through the rest because everything else will rest on the ones we have already read out. That if you've met them, then the rest will follow. That is the recordings and so on and so forth. So you can classify a particular payment as interest, but that's what I said yesterday. That does not make it an interest. If you have a vehicle running and it is a saloon vehicle, if you call it a four-wheel drive, an SUV, that doesn't make it an SUV. So it's not just the name calling or the labeling, it's the features it has that will classify it as an SUV or a saloon vehicle. You and I know this.
Yes.
The chairman. You wear half time, I call it a suit. It's not the same, regardless of how I call it. So there was no impress system in the project. Is that not the case?
Yes, that is the case. That is why I was just trying to specify on how we have been doing our impress system.
You have to do it in line with regulation.
Exactly.
Now I go to the petty cash payment again to show that you will also classify it as petty cash, but it does not have the features of a petty cash. It says the country will operate a petty cash float from which minor expenses can be paid. The float should not exceed the amount prescribed and approved by the Chief Executive Officer. The Chief Executive, in consultation with the Director of Finance, should set the ceiling. There is no ceiling of this sort, right?
There was a ceiling for the project that was $10,000
for petty cash.
For petty cash, yes.
Okay. Now, who set the ceiling?
It was the EU, because when I took over from the finance manager,
yes,
I already found them operating that petty cash. I mean, with that ceiling of 10,000. So I continued with that.
Yes, because that is consistent with what Peter said, but he also said that the ceiling keeps changing from time to time. Sometimes the ceiling is 10,000, sometimes it's probably less or higher.
Yes, because petty cash it operates in such a way that you have a float that is the ceiling, which is 10,000. So you do your expenditure.
Yes.
Up to a level where you feel you need to, replenish, or you need to get reimbursement for what you have already spent. Like, for example, you have spent up to 9,000. Yes. So you'll be given back 9,000 together with the 1,000 that you're having in hand to make it 10,000. So at any point in time, your total vouchers together with the cash that you have should be equivalent to that flow, that $10,000.
Now, for petty cash, the procedure reads: when a petty cash float is approved, a payment voucher is prepared in the name of the petty cashier and a check drawn for the approved amount. And the petty cashier will post this amount in the debit side of the petty cash book. Do you guys have a petty cash book?
No. For the EU project, no.
Is there a petty cashier?
Yeah, the finance manager by default was
by default. The law did not say by default here. It did never say by default that the finance manager or so any other person may act as a petty cashier. Were you appointed as a petty cashier? In your theory state, you will be the petty cashier?
For the EU project, there was no petty cashier. It was just the operationalization of a petty cash that was handled by the finance manager.
What will probably be by default is may be found in your role as the finance manager. Your role reads: the finance manager shall be responsible for safeguarding the council's interest in all financial transactions relating to revenue collection and expenditure under the guidance and supervision of the Director of Finance. Ensure, and that's why it's dangerous, because you were made to sign all checks in the absence of the finance director. Your boss was there. Your immediate supervisor was present, and you took it upon yourself to be signing checks. That was so dangerous, because the law says the Director of Finance and the CEO. You have that option, that is if the deputy, for instance, the administration director, or you understand that the law recognizes you as being supervised by the Director of Finance. It is under the guidance and supervision of the Director of Finance and ensures that effective accounting systems and procedures are laid down to aid the provision of appropriate management information for planning and control of the operations of council particularly. Mr. Kamara sat here and said that it was wrong for him to be sidelined for financial transactions as Director of Finance. Do you agree with that?
I agree to a certain point,
What's it?
but then the other part of it is he was responsible for signing as a Director of Finance together with the CEO.
Right.
When I was, introduced in 2022, February,
Right.
as a signatory,
Yes.
he was still not removed as a signatory.
Yes.
He was still a signatory.
Yes.
But then in the event he was unavailable to sign, then I was stepping.
He was available to sign.
Yes.
He had his own discretion to say, I am not going to sign. That is not your concern. That would not be your business. It's not like he traveled. You understand that?
Yes.
The number one says, I am not going to do it. The number two cannot do it when he is present. That's basic management. You know this.
I understand it. But then, this is the project. It's a different thing.
Oh, all accounts of council are managed in this way. Project funds, donations, grants, everything is council's funds.
Yeah, it's public funds, I know. But then the project was managed.
Just say it that way so that you can understand. It's council's funds.
Yes. But the project was managed differently.
See,
by virtue of the fact that there was a coordinator who was guiding, that was the EU coordinator and the Banjul coordinator.
it's either you refuse to understand or your level of understanding is a bit in relation to this issue. You don't understand things easily. That may be the reason. Do you understand that? This is clear. The Finance Accounting Act says clearly that all the funds of and revenues of council includes grants, donations, project funds, of everything. The law is very clear as to who should sign when it comes to monies of council. Do you not know this?
Yes.
And who are the two people?
Is Director of Finance and the CEO?
Does it include the project funds?
Yes.
Simple. That's how simple it is. So we don't really have a debate on this unless you genuinely believe that the project funds does not constitute or does not you can't count it as funds of council. But if you know that, then what are you talking about? You work for council, right?
Yes.
Exactly. They didn't hire you from outside. The project didn't have its own finance manager separate from the finance department of council. That's the reason. So when he said that he, as the Director of Finance, by law, should be signing the checks, would that be a correct statement?
Yes.
Good. Do you see yourself as the deputy of the finance, the director, by
Yes.
law?
Yes, I was working under him.
Good. Not working under him. Deputy.
Yes.
Number two. Correct?
Yes.
And so you understand your role to be that if things are assigned to you by the Director of Finance, you do them if they are lawful, correct?
Yes.
And where he has the power to do certain actions, if he doesn't expressly give you those instructions, you should not do them.
Yes.
Good. Where he is present and he exercises discretion to not perform a certain function, you cannot perform it.
Yes.
So why were you performing those functions?
No, I was not performing anything outside.
You were signing checks because the Director of Finance was not signing checks.
But then this was as a result of a separate arrangement that was done, and then it involved.
We are made to sign the checks, man. See?
Yes, it involved the EU coordinator who was there, and the project manager also, and then the CEO, because it was highlighted that in the event that there are expenditures to be done, because it's for a project, and then the project cannot be at a standstill, and then the Director of Finance is not there to sign, then I step in.
If there is any irregularity or any maladministration on the side of the Director of Finance, there are steps to take. The law has provided for the necessary steps to take. There are disciplinary measures to exhaust. those would not give you the automatic right to step in his shoes and do his job when the Lord also gave you the right to do it. So you could have to say, well, I don't have the right and the powers to do this. Because what would you act on? Now tell me, what would you rely on? What is your fallback on? Does the law permit you to do that? Based on your understanding of the financial manual?
Maybe
No,
if it,
maybe.
yes, if it were for BCC, it would have been a different thing. But then this is the project, and then there are also actors in the project who are in the position of authority, who will subject you to do certain things within the limits. So maybe it was
Can you narrow yourself down to signature and authorizing withdrawals?
yes,
That's what we are talking about.
yes,
Not other aspects of the project. This is finance. The law has its own guidelines and those requirements with respect to finance, how monies should be spent, who should sign. It's not because there is a letter sent to the bank. If the letter is erroneous, the bank should not honor it. Do you understand that?
yes.
But it's because the letter was in line with laid out laws and procedure. It's acceptable. That's the issue. But the CEO does not have the authority to say that, for instance, that for the accounts of council, the PRO should sign. Even if he writes letter and sign it with the most expensive pen, it would not be lawful. It has to be in line with law. Is that not the case?
Yes.
Yes. So that's how you came in. Ask number two. Ask number two. That was why yesterday when I said you were a rubber stamp, I meant it. Because you did not question for once why you will be signing the checks. When the Director of Finance is present, let them solve their problems with the Director of Finance. Do you understand?
Yes.
It says you will have custody of all bank statements and a continuous check on all lodgements into the council's account, postings and balancing the daily abstract books, posting and balancing the general ledger, preparation of the monthly summary of receipts and payments, drafting of final accounts and financial statements, supervision of the work of the senior accounts clerk, and any other duties assigned from time to time. Assigned from time to time. Assigned by who?
By the Director of Finance.
See, your boss. This is where the issue of boss comes in. Your immediate supervisor. And to work with both the internal and external auditors, ensuring that all the information required by them are provided. So if by default you have any other job, it should emanate from this. So if you think something is your responsibility by default, it should emanate from this. Did it say anywhere that you should sign when the Director of Finance refuses to sign?
No.
Because he has that discretion. If he exercises it, he should exercise that discretion in accordance with law, judiciously and judicially. But that is for him to do. If he did not do it right, he answers. If he does it right, so be it. But that's not for you, my friend. You understand it?
Yes.
So you have no pedicast system in accordance with the financial manual. You have no impressed system in accordance with the manual. Then you can't account for the finances of country the way they were expended. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now we have the special audit of manuals to the council. Page 9, the loan of fraud. It says review of the council cash will reveal 23 personnel loans totaling to 755,000 were issued out to the Director of Finance and others without a schedule of repayment. But before that, the fuel allocation for the project? How was it done?
We have a request form that
Yes.
would be, completed, and then there was a set amount that was obtained on weekly basis, or on periodical basis, because we use it, to exhaustion before we get another listing. So we buy coupon, we have a list, a form that we enter or record all our fuel coupon. And then when there is the need to supply, we supply, the name of the recipient or the beneficiary would sign, would be put in the form, and then he would sign. We normally do that for Dr. Banjul, and for other officials within the project team.
Will you have the records for the fuel allocation during your time?
Yes, we have that.
Will you be able to provide it?
Yes.
Please write it down. I asked this because when you were audited, the findings were that there was no distribution list of fuel book for the recipient of the fuel. Is that true?
We were later on able to provide.
Is that true?
At the time of the audit.
Yes.
Yes, but then later on we were able to provide some of the forms.
When?
It was when we were engaged by the fraud squad.
When was this?
This was in October.
October?
Yes.
Of which year?
This year, 2024.
2024?
Yes.
We are not talking about 2024. We are talking about since 2021. So you had no fuel loss since 2021. From 2021 to for the most part of 2023, there was no fuel loss.
No, what I mean, what was highlighted in the audit report, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. It was for the entire period covering the 2021 that we are talking of.
So you don't have a fuel loan? Is that a yes? You don't have one from 2021 to 2023?
We have a form that we use to sign to supply fuel.
And how do you record the details in that form? Where do you record that?
When we receive the coupon from the petrol station, we list all the fuel coupon number and their denominations, because they are in denominations. For example, you have a book of $1,000.
Yes.
A coupon. We list everything and then put the coupon number and the amount. Everything will be registered, and then the total is obtained, which is the same total as what we have in the voucher. And then when there is need for supply to any of the officials, you just put the name and then you sign against that coupon that you have received $1,000, for example.
We want you to provide us with all the information regarding the fuel distribution.
Yes.
2021.
Yes, you can provide that.
All right. You can write that down, please. The time you were the acting director of finance too at some point?
Yes.
Is that from 2018?
Yes, from July 2018 to October 2020.
Are you familiar with the financial statements and audit report for the year ended 31st December 2019?
Yes.
You have. Let me ask that you be given a copy, please. Page 31. There was an amount of 1,777,812.94 petals, and 1,814,885.65 that were paid to the date of planning for the construction of the abattoir. Do you recall this?
Yes.
Why was this money paid to the date of planning?
Because these are projects that will be done in-house.
Yes.
Because we have, yes, in-house. Because we have a planning unit and then a whole works and services unit where we have tradesmen. So what we normally do is, regarding this kind of projects,
Yes.
it is internally funded and then done in-house by virtue of getting a BOQ from the director of planning that will be approved.
Was there retirement?
Yes, there was retirement.
Can you provide the retirement?
Yes, I can provide the retirement.
Yes.
Yes.
Turn to page 28. What? 28. There was an overpayment issue. It says the amount of $675 was overpaid by Value City Council to UXL.
Yes.
Was this true?
No. There was no overpayment.
Can you provide the dates of the payment is you have 23rd of January 2019, 2nd of May 2019, 9th of July 2019, and you paid the following amounts: $175,000, $382,000, and $1 million. And the actual payment is $1,507,500. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you've overpaid about $675,000.
Right, which was not the case. If you look at the auditor's for documents, you will see that it has been regularized.
Now, do you have the contract? The copy of the contract?
Unless I check, I used to have a copy, but then I have to confirm.
Will you be able to provide us with the copy of the contract and all the payments made in this regard?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'll have to check because I used to have a copy. But then yesterday I searched, I couldn't see it, so I have to check and consult others who are having the copy.
We want the information.
Yes.
To understand what happened. Any comments for this?
Please proceed.
That's all for this witness. We're waiting for him to come back.
Just to come back again, Mr. Cham.
Yes, sir.
Did you pay any expenses your Euro account or from your Euro account?
Huh?
To pay expenses from
Have
the
you
Euro.
made any payments out of that Euro account?
Yes, we have effected, payments to a contractor who was based in Holland. It was a Euro transfer, I can remember.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm asking. Because if you have a consultant or a project coordinator coming from Europe and they are going home or going for whatever, and you need to pay them, you have to pay them in foreign currency.
Exactly.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying we need to have a statement of account of the euro account.
Yes, we have that because we paid Green Link BV. They are based in Holland, so we paid them in the euro from the euro account.
So it will be best for us to see the statement.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Cham,
Yes.
there are some in your statement, in your additional witness statement, dated the 7th of January 2025. There was unaccounted check payments amounting to 2,601,133.60.
Yes,
Yes, what
yes, that's what we've been saying since yesterday because it's in fact more than that. I have to make a reconciliation to know exactly
so it's more
which
than
payments. It's even more than that. Yes. So I need to do reconciliation to know exactly because as highlighted in the audit report, it is more than that amount. So what I needed to do is to reconcile, to check all the payments that were meant for the withdrawals.
so how about the duplication of payments? That is the 1,309,576.34
Duplication of?
payment in your statement, the one I referred to you. That is the one dated the 7th of January 2025.
That was, I believe, for the retreat that was done at the Creek Lodge. Because what the auditor saw was there was, expenditure coming from the EU project and from BCC as well for the same retreat. That's why they said duplicated payment.
What is it, the total amount of salary advances you've taken over the period?
Sorry?
The salary advances over the period. Was this deducted from your salary? For example, the one that you took on the 3rd of March 2021, which was 30,000, and you took another one on the 11th of November 2021, and you took another one on the 20th of December 2021, which was 30,000, 36,000, 18,000 respectively.
Yes, all the salary advances were scheduled for 6 months deduction, which were all, observed. 6 months deduction was observed for recovery.
So have all these amounts?
Yes, they have all been recovered.
Can you provide us?
Yes, you can. I can provide that.
Right. What about the drawback? That is part payment you received. That is 40,000 on the 19th of November 2021.
Yeah, that was a payment done when the Director of Finance, my successor, who took over from me, after we are fixing his remuneration, and then it was observed that there are certain allowances that I was not having as an acting Director of Finance. So it was recommended for me.
It's different. It is different because you have stated in your statement on the 7th of January on page 2 that you were paid a cumulative sum of 67,200, which was the 2,400 monthly allowance, which you were supposed to benefit as Director of Finance.
Yes,
you were paid back that amount, that is 67,200.
Yes,
so that is different from the 40 I am asking about.
That 40 is also is another allowance. There are two different allowances.
Now, this the designated allowance, that the management designated allowance, you said it has been increased. What is the current allowance rate that is being paid?
Because this, I think,
What is the actual amount? You have indicated yesterday, you gave evidence. You said The mayor receives 20, the deputy receives 15, the CEO receives 10, and etc.
Yes.
So, and you indicated that there is an upgrade in the amount. There is an increment in the amount. How much? How much is increased?
That one, unless I check, because there was it.
This amount, as a finance manager, you cannot
No.
remember
I'm
how
not. I'm
much
not.
is being paid currently.
No. I'm not doing this because the increment was observed when Mr. Kamara was the director of finance. So by then I was.
Paid. This management designation allowance is no longer paid.
It is still paid.
So note it down and tell us exactly how much is being paid now. Was the 53,756.94, which was paid to Mam Lai Jassy, was it recovered?
Yes, that was.
This payment was regarded as an unauthorized payment.
It was 1/6, I believe. He was paid to Mamlai and recovered. I mean, um, in 6 months.
To what?
It was recovered in 6 months. That is from 6 months deduction.
Please provide us with the evidence.
Yes.
Note it down. Thank you.
Yeah, just one question. You were there when the memorandum of understanding between the Banyu City Council, the BCC, and Rafella Network of Local Elected Women in Africa was signed?
No.
In 2019, were you the acting director of finance?
Yes.
Were you making payments to Rafella pursuant to the memorandum?
No, the first payment that was effected for Rafella was in November when Mr. Kamara assumed office.
Yes.
That was the first month that they were paid their monthly allowances. That it was incorporated into our allowances to be having this several officials paid on monthly basis.
When was this?
It was in November of 2019, 2020.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you make payments yourself as well?
No.
You've never made any payment to Rafella
No.
for any travel
I have not been dealing with Rafella.
at any point?
No.
Thank you. Let's go on.
Mr. Kamara?
Cham.
I'm sorry. Mr. Cham, thank you so much. We will see you on Tuesday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Let's see.
Good afternoon, Madam Witness.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to this Commission for Inquiry into Local Government Councils and Related Matters. Madam Witness, in which language do you wish to make your testimony?
I would prefer to speak English.
Okay, can you face that camera?
I would prefer to speak English.
What is your religion?
I'm a Muslim.
Do you wish to swear by the Holy Quran or make an affirmation?
Yes, sir.
You wish to swear by the Holy Quran?
Yes, I will swear by the
Okay,
Holy Quran.
Madam Chair, the witness wish to swear by the Holy Quran. Can you turn off your mobile? Speak. Place your mobile on the table. Okay, stand here and face them. Okay. Madam Chair, the witness wishes to swear by the Holy Quran. Hold the Holy Quran and then repeat after me. I, Isatou Njie,
Isatou Njie,
do swear
that
I'll speak the truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. You may be kindly seated. Madam Chair, the witness is sworn. I have the honor to hand over the witness to you for us to proceed.
Good afternoon, Madam Jai.
Good afternoon, ma. Thank you.
Council, we may proceed.
Yes, please tell the commission your name.
My name is Isatou Njie.
What is your address?
I live in Banjul, number 18 Hagan Street.
We have a statement from you. He will give you the statement. It's dated the 19th of December 2024.
Okay.
Please go through it and then confirm whether that is your statement.
Okay. Yes. This is my statement.
We apply to tender the statement of the witness as it will Njie into evidence as an exhibit. Okay.
The statement dated the 19th of December 2024 is hereby admitted in evidence as an exhibit and it is marked as LGC/BCC/IN in brackets 1/001.
As the commission places. Now, you are here because I believe you are the Rafella National Coordinator.
I was.
What does that mean?
I left in December
Which year?
2024.
Now you will come to why you left that position. But when did you assume the role of the national coordinator for Rafella?
I joined, if you permit me, I will tell you how it came about.
Yes.
Because I was member of the campaign team of Mayor Rohimali Law during his first term. So when she won, I started working with her voluntarily until after a year and a half, we came up. It was about 2 days after Tobaski that we were invited at the office and we were introduced to Rafella that this is an organization that would help the women in empowering them politically, empowering them economically, and all sorts of other objectives that Rafella had. So I was also a part of the team. So after that, based on the work and how serious I took Rafella, she, after that, recommended me as the coordinator. I had worked with her for about a year and a half. Voluntarily, I go to work like everybody from 8 to 4, and I go and attend meetings and stuff like that until I was given the responsibility of coordinating Rafella. And then I was named the coordinator of Rafella.
Very well. Now, what is Rafella about?
Rafella is the network of locally elected women in Africa. But REFELA is abbreviated in French, and it reads Réseau de femmes élues locales d'Afrique. It is a French meaning, because when you say the network of local elected women in Africa, yes, and Rafella is REFELA, therefore someone would not understand, but it is abbreviated in French.
Okay.
It is a network under the United Cities and local governments in Africa,
right,
that has 4 main objectives. That is to empower women politically, to empower them economically, ending all sorts of violence against women, and zero tolerance of children on the streets. So as the first female elected mayor of the Gambia, she was qualified to be part of the network. That also qualified her to be the vice president of Rafella West Africa. And then gradually, she went to the election of Rafella Africa and won the presidency. That is how it came about.
Okay. Now, for your activities in the Gambia, how is it supposed to be structured?
Well, the structure was supposed to be, we will have Rafella regional coordinators. We have coordinators. We were not able to have all coordinators in all 8 regions of the Gambia, but we had effective coordinators whose responsibility will be to look at the problems women are facing in the respective regions and come back to us. When they come with ideas and recommendations, we'll put it in the form of a proposal and then look for funding. We were basically being funded by the UNDP Gambia, plus some other funding agencies that the mayor herself was able to lobby to bring forward to, make the Rafella operational.
So why was it difficult to have regional coordinators?
Was it difficult?
I'm asking. You said you were not able to have it. Why were you not able to have it?
Well, because Rafella didn't have its own source of funding. Rafella didn't have its own operational costs. So the only thing Rafella was able to do was to pay allowances to me, and we were 4, I think, me and 3 others. There was no funding for operational costs of Rafella. So people like me were kind of, partially volunteering because there was no funding. The funds that Rafella received, mainly, for example, from the UNDP, were meant for specific projects. After the projects, the accounts are empty, and then we go and look for some other projects. Therefore, no funds were available for the operational costs of Rafella.
Is it because it was not properly structured?
Well, maybe it was not properly structured, maybe. But for me, I think what we should have done was, when we go and look for funding to execute projects, we would as well have looked for funding for the operational costs of Rafella.
Yes.
The way you look for a particular funding to fund a program, yes, you can as well go and look for funding for at least 2 years or 5 years operational costs of Rafella. But that was not the case.
Why?
That was at a higher level. My responsibilities were basically in the Gambia. My responsibilities were to monitor and to supervise the other regional coordinators, and to work on projects, to initiate right projects and stuff like that. But that was at a higher level than me. The Rafella has its president, that is the mayor. I am a coordinator, and my responsibilities rest here in the Gambia.
Yeah, that is why we want to understand, not to say that perhaps the shortcomings or the shortfalls of Rafella probably are because of the coordinator. We just want to understand the concept, the initial idea of having the chapter in the Gambia, what it was supposed to do, what it was supposed to achieve, and why perhaps if the cases did not achieve it, why was it the reason um, that it never achieved really what it was supposed to achieve in that respect. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Now, how many people were either working or volunteered for Rafella in which categories?
Myself as the coordinator, we had the regional coordinator for Lower River Region, then Musuke Bacham. We had then a regional coordinator for KMC. It has been swapped now. It was there Fatima Jame. And we had Mr. Ibu Drame, who was paid allowance, he was kind of added to his salary. It was a meager amount that was given to him so that he will help in, controlling the accounts of Rafella.
Yes.
So we were about four. We were about four people.
Yes. Now, do you have yearly activities?
I prepare annual work plans.
Yes.
But unfortunately, when you send them for funding, the United Nations, the Human TV Gambia, will look at their areas of interest and they will fund them. I remember twice or three times I prepared an annual work plan. In the work plan, I have programs like awards nights where you recognize outstanding women in their various responsibilities and other activities that I think would be worthwhile. But unfortunately, some of these activities were not areas of interest of the funding agent. So when you send at least 14 items, only one or two will be approved. And based on also what they were interested in. But nonetheless, the president of Rafella, she travels a lot. She used to go and she has her own way of trying to bring some funds under Rafella, like the youth volunteerism, like the Bloomberg project, which were all implemented by Rafella. But unfortunately, that was the case.
Okay. So you have the president being the mayor of Banjul. Is that a permanent position?
It is supposed to be 3.5 years, unless they extended it, because I have left since December and I don't know what's happening in Rafella, in the Gambia and outside the Gambia. But it's an election that took place. The last election took place in Kisumu, in Kenya, where you have all the mayors from all sides of Africa. They will come. Her responsibility does not only lie in the Gambia. Her responsibility was also to ensure that all the other African countries will have proper reference structures, and then she will help them to implement projects within their own countries. So,
was that achieved?
Well,
as far as you're concerned,
as far as I'm concerned, there are certain things she does that I would not know. As Rafella wants to know.
Where was it achieved?
For me,
yes.
The way I see it, and to be very frank, yes, I am not sure, but I don't think we were able to achieve that. I don't think so. But I wouldn't say things that I'm not aware of.
I understand.
There are certain things she does. She travels without. So many times she travels and she will go for a fella that I might not even know. Sometimes you can ask. I will just come to work today and they will tell me that the mayor has traveled over the weekend. So there are certain activities that she has been doing that are not to my knowledge. Maybe she was able to achieve some of those objectives, but not to my knowledge.
Yes. So strictly speaking, if Rafella is to have any activity, it should be a well-coordinated activity. And you as the coordinator, you will definitely be aware of the activity. So it's not a personal business, it's an institutionalized business in the sense that you have a framework, you have a setup, you have a president, you have a coordinator, and you have the necessary arms of Rafella. So it's not like there is an individual venture. Is that not the case? So for you to say you were not aware, that should not have been the case.
Well, it should not have been the case, but to be frank enough,
Yes.
my coordinator, myself as a coordinator, some point was just a title. At some point, myself, everybody knows me in the Gambia. People know me very well as to be somebody who believes in what I do. What I was doing is my passion. Helping women has always been my passion. Before I worked for Rafella, I had worked for the National Center for Arts and Culture for 14 years as a performing arts officer and then senior performing arts officer before I left and traveled to the United Kingdom. But anywhere I have worked, if you go there and ask, they will tell you, my work is my passion. But if well, I was not empowered, to be frank.
Yes.
I wasn't empowered. And not being empowered was the reason why I gradually forget about everything and left.
Yes, because if you say it was only at some point a title, then it would presuppose that it's no longer done as per the aims and objectives and of Rafella. You understand what it is supposed to stand for, or the reason why it was set up, why it was important for any component of human development in the Gambia in particular. Of course, in partnership with other sister institutions as well.
Yeah.
Now, why was it personalized?
If you say personalized,
Yes.
what do you mean in
I
that sense?
see that from the evidence we have gathered, it appears as if it was personalized to suit the interest of the mayors from its main aims and objectives. And because it's important here, because then we see public funds being put in to an institution like Rafella. If it was serving the public good, it would have been perhaps been important. But you are here as a coordinator, you are giving us evidence that at some point it was as if you only have the title but know nothing about Rafella.
No, I wouldn't say I know nothing about Rafella. I have been going. My responsibility did not permit me to go to work every day.
Yes.
I would have been going at least 3 times or 4 times a week. But because of the love and passion I have for the work I was doing, I used to go to work every day.
But you were sidelined.
At some point,
Yes.
at some point, I realized that the name coordinator is a big one.
Yes.
The responsibilities I am holding are massive, but I have given so much to my job, but my job has not given anything to me.
What does that mean?
That is, it means I wasn't empowered as the national coordinator of Rafella. And at some point, things happen without my knowledge. At some point, I will sit down and realize that I wouldn't say I don't know anything about Rafella. I will never say that. If I say that, I will not be honest to myself. There are certain activities I take, but I've traveled outside the Gambia to represent Rafella. I've traveled, I've even traveled to America to do a city leaders training as the Rafella National Coordinator, to do the city leaders training at the Harvard University, which I completed, which the mayor herself did. And this program was meant to, empower us to a level that as a leader, you will be able to manage all sorts of organizations, especially organizations that look like Rafella. So my capacity was built as a person that I would say I benefited. I had built my capacity. I attended a 1-year training at the uni. Partially was, I went to the United States at the Harvard University. The other side was done virtually. But at least that one built my capacity. But if you build my capacity and you let me sit in the office, the next thing you're going to do is to make sure that when you call me a national coordinator should look like a national coordinator. There are times that I don't know what's going on, but I wouldn't say I don't know anything about Rafella. We used to travel to the villages where she will build boreholes. Wherever she travels, I will go 2 days before her and I will bring the women out. I will speak to them. I will know their problems. I will know their challenges before the mayor herself would come. So that shows you the importance I put to my work.
Yes.
And how serious I was to achieve, the desired objective.
How many accounts does Rafella have?
I think 2. 2. There is the youth volunteerism account, because any monies that the UNDP is giving out, you need a separate account. They don't want anything. So that was why the youth volunteerism account, a new account, was opened. There is another account for the Bloomberg project that also followed the same trend.
Yes.
Yeah, at the basic, both are at the basic bank.
Now, who were the signatories?
I was secondary signatory.
The first?
The how do you call it? The principal signatory is the president of Rafella Mayor.
Okay.
She was the principal signatory.
Is there any other person?
I think Mr. Makumba signed at some point, but she has never signed anything.
Oh.
Because the Rafella organization is mainly women. So we don't normally want to see men, whatever signature.
Men's signature on it.
No, we don't want to see it. So that's why he never signed.
If it comes to money, it does not matter.
No, it was basically women anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you had an MOU with BCC. Were you present in 2019 as at the time the MOU was signed?
I was there. It was signed on the 3rd of, I think 3rd of October 2019.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
Good. What brought about this MOU?
Well, we realized after we sat down, after we talked about Rafella, and it was time for Rafella to be inaugurated in the Gambia,
Right.
to be institutionalized in the Gambia.
Right.
On the 9th and on the 6th and on the 7th of October,
Yes.
2019, we realized there are some, we needed some finances.
Yes.
You understand? We needed BCC to come in and assist. That was the time the memorandum of understanding was signed. There were various meetings with the mayor and the CEO, and I'm not sure whether others were happening, but they had meetings. They talked about it. I drafted the MOU. And I showed it to them. Changes were made anyway. They made their changes. Both mayor and CEO made their changes, and then we do it again. Because as the coordinator, I don't have a typist. I type for myself. I do everything for myself. Because I'm also a qualified teacher in office and secretarial practice. So I do all the typing for myself. When I typed it and corrections were made, I made the corrections and I gave it back to them, and it was signed and stamped.
Now, the areas of partnership reads that Rafella shall partner with the Banjul State Council in implementing projects that shall improve the lives of the women and youth of the city of Banjul. But before I proceed, let me just show you. Do you have a copy of the MOU?
It is, I think.
In your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you this. You can confirm.
Are you talking about any particular page?
No, I just want you to confirm that is the MOU.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. Let me please have it. We apply to tender a copy of the memorandum of understanding between Banjul State Council and Rafella to be admitted to evidence of black assets.
The memorandum of understanding between Banjul City Council and Rafella, in brackets, Network of Locally Elected Women in Africa, Gambia chapter. The said memorandum is dated the 3rd of October 2019. It is signed by Rohi Malik Low, President Rafella Gambia chapter, stroke Mayor of Banjul, and Mr. Mustafa Bachili, CEO Banjul City Council. This memorandum is admitted in evidence as an exhibit, and it is marked as LGC/BCC/IN in brackets 1/002.
As the commission insists. Yes, just this part, the areas of partnership. To partner with the BCC to develop visions of economic empowerment of women, giving them access to finances, thus making them independent. Is there a program that you've had with BCC to come up to meet this partnership column, that is to come up with a plan in developing visions for economic empowerment of women?
Well, she had a program before I left. There was a program that was aimed at
She had a program, or Rafella had a program?
Well, the program would have been implemented by Rafella. But I heard when she talked about $1 million for women will come that's a way of empowering them economically. But I'm not sure whether that program has started. But apart from the Rohim Ali Law Initiative for Women and Girls Empowerment that they give, funding for microfinances and stuff like that. Rafella has not had any microfinances yet.
Okay.
The programs we did varied from empowering women, giving access to pure water, trying to inform them, building their capacity to inform them the importance of voting. Especially, we realized during the previous elections that so many women were not voting. So we did a campaign to sensitize the women on the importance of voting. It has to come in line with the political empowerment of women. You understand? But for microfinancing, yet we have not achieved that yet.
The fourth point is that the partnership between BCC and Rafella is to prepare proposals to be sent to funding agencies for the construction of centers for recreation, multi-purpose, market sheds for women, retailers, and other facilities. Have you been having this partnership with BCC? Asking with BCC, sitting down, having a workshop or meeting to have these proposals, making sure you achieve a desired objective?
Well, one of those is the market shed that was built at the Albert Market. Whether we start with BCC and we did everything together, that one I don't think happened. But it has been done we have been consulting them. But it was mainly a project that is conducted by Rafella. It was a project that was conducted by, but they are aware. We used to inform them. I used to take pictures and inform them, because one of the shed that was built inside the Albert Market, I was there. I used to go there every day. I take pictures and inform authorities of the developments taking place until the project completed. But whether, it all boils down to the fact that there are certain things that I'm not aware. There are certain things that I'm not aware as a national coordinator. Sometimes there are discussions that let me tell you one incident when a program happened and I saw the name Rafella on a t-shirt, and they were having a program at the newly constructed hall, at the new building of the BCC. I saw somebody putting on a t-shirt in collaboration with Rafella. I asked them, when did this happen? They told me that they came and spoke to the mayor about the program and stuff, and they asked me to come. I said, no, I'm not coming because nobody told me. I've been coming here every day from 8 to 4, and nobody told me about this program.
When you are
when I am the coordinator.
That's why I said. That's why I said it appeared to have been a personal issue, a personal business for the mayors, as opposed to having a structured institution. For Rafella was supposed to be a structured institution with a coordinator and the necessary arms based on finance, and then all programs are structured in that manner. not 1 month show.
And the first thing Rafella should have done was to look for funding for operational costs. That was the first thing, because we cannot depend entirely on the Banjul City Council. They don't have the means to help us 100%. So the way, like I said earlier, the way we are looking for funding for specific project is the same way we would have looked for funding, at least for a 5-year or beginning for a 2-year.
Yes.
If you have operational costs, that will give me a car. I am the poorest coordinator in the whole world. It will give me a car. It will give me access to the internet. But every day you will see me under the hot sun.
That's the structure I am referring to now. Thank you very much. Do you have any other thing that you want to say?
Well, unless you ask me, I am here at your service and I will listen to any questions. But so far, thank you for inviting me here. It has been a pleasure. Everything I have said is from the bottom of my heart, and it is true. I am here to tell the truth. But what I am saying, people like us, people like me, are people that need to be empowered. Because in whatever we do, we want to see results. Whatever I do, I'm not young. I'm almost in my mid-50s, so I'm not a young guy. I take my work seriously, but what would you achieve at the end of the day? I was taken to hell and back. What would you achieve at the end of the day? You hold your back and go to work from Monday to Saturday. Sometimes we even work during the weekends. But the only advice I have is to make sure that when people, every effort should be rewarded.
I agree.
My efforts were not rewarded, unfortunately. But I took it in good heart. I left in December. I left that office on Christmas Eve. And up till now, I have not even set my foot there. But I wish her good luck. But the only advice I have for her is the rest of the people you have, make sure you empower them, because they will gradually leave one by one if they don't see anything beneficial anymore.
Because the idea is to empower women.
When you are empowering women in one hand and killing another woman in the other hand, what does that look like?
All right. All right. Unfortunately, it is time. I see that I have been signaled several times. The chairperson has indicated it's time. But let me hand you over to the chairperson, whether you will come back or we will draw the curtains here.
Just one question, Madam Jai.
Yes.
The 300,000, was this allocated to Rafella yearly and paid into the Rafella account?
Once.
Just one.
They used to pay us directly at the BCC. The 300,000 was meant for allowance for myself and the others for 6 months, from July until December. It was the 300 was only paid once. That was the last July in 2024.
Yes, the reason why I asked is because in your statement you said, however, the council gave a threshold of $300,000 per annum. So that is why I wanted the clarity on whether it was done consistently while you served as coordinator.
No, it was only done once. That was this last July. And it was meant to pay us from July until December. Before then, we used to receive our allowances directly at the Banjul City Council.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Jai.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have a need to call you to clarify any further issue that we may come across.
Thank you.
We will do so.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your event.
Thank you so much.
We may rise.
Thank you.